Hello.
Hi. That wasn't supposed to happen.
But it did.
It did.
I was
Wasn't-
just about to run upstairs too.
Yeah.
So it was weird. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Well, I
There
can
we
keep
are.
playing it. So actually, let me see here.
No.
No?
No. Start it over again. That's no good.
Fair. Yeah, no, I can't. I don't think I can fast forward it. Well, wait, no. No, I can't.
That was awesome. Take
Now we know.
three. Now we
Take
know.
three. Yeah, no, it's going to be the same thing. Yeah, this is all because I was trying to fix the outro. And now I know.
Yeah.
I need to clean that up before we start the live. So, welcome, everybody, as
Hey.
I am.
It makes us earlier than
It-
the later
Well, we're
we
also
were going to
catching
be.
up.
Yeah.
We are going to catch up. We're going to talk for a little bit because A, it's going to give me time to do the correction. B, it's going to give time for people to be aware of the starting. And C, just reiterating the first point as I'm still trying to get stuff ready.
All right. That's cool. Listen, I have a
Uh,
story then. Do I have time?
Perfect time for a story.
Okay. It's actually a message to everybody. And it's a message like I'm asking everybody to step it up a little bit. And I'm not asking you to do a lot. First, I'm going to tell you a story about, you guys know this because I've posted it a bunch of times, but I wear my keffeya every day wherever I go. And without fail, every day, wherever, like a different place all the time. One time it was Canadian Tire, another time I was outside of the restaurant place, the whatever cafeteria across the street from the courthouse. People compliment. They'll say, "I love your scarf," and then I just respond, "Free Palestine," and they say, "Free Palestine," or they make a comment about it. And it happens so much that, Joe, we were just at the courthouse on Friday, remember?
That's
And
correct.
as I'm walking back from one side back towards the court room that we were supposed to be in, this lady, I don't know if she was already standing up or if she got up when I was walking by, but anyway, she was standing up at that point. And she just looked at me and all she said was, "Hello, can I give you a hug?" And I knew exactly what she was talking about. So I gave her a hug and I said, "Free Palestine." And she said, "Free Palestine." And she said, "I usually wear my keffeya, but I forgot it today." I said, "I don't leave my house without it." And if I see somebody else who's wearing a keffeya, they're my people, right? So it's easy. I go up to them and I say, "Free Palestine," and they say, "Free Palestine." And so the point of this story is I think everybody should really start wearing their keffeyas all the time. If you can, if you're or every time you go out. Obviously, if you're a nurse, you can't wear a keffeya while you're working as a nurse. Obviously, if you're, have uniforms, you can't wear a keffeya. But if you're going to Costco, or if you're going to Canadian Tire, or if you're going to whatever, grocery store, drugstore, wear your keffeya. It's worth it.
She says that the one time I don't wear my cafe headband or shirt.
Yeah, what's up with that?
You're right. I usually have the one. It's just unfortunately because we were running a little late. I grabbed again. I've got plenty of keffeyas. I usually have either that or my keffeya headbands, as we all know, or you know what? Fine.
See, and it doesn't take anything. It just a little bit of encouragement, and then a few more minutes of your time or seconds to just go grab it and put it on. Leave an extra one in the car in case you left the house, you forgot it. You have one in the car. Keffeyas. Holy, where is his cafe? He can't find his cafe, you guys. Or he's changing his headband. Oh, there it is.
I can't find the kefaya. I did find the scarf.
I like that.
So I have had this one for a couple of years. I never wear it.
Why? It's amazing.
I usually have the kefaya or the bandana or anything else. Like, and I don't want to pile a bunch of kefayas because I'm
but that's good for like when you're wearing a suit.
Yeah, no, exactly. So
it's nice.
You gotta wear a suit, maybe I should have last time I wore a suit.
Yeah.
Well, the hoodie, I'll do the bandana, or I'll do.
Well, Friday, everybody has an opportunity to wear their kefaya when they come sit and at my sentencing.
Absolutely, and
with their kefaya.
I'll also bring a couple of extras just in case anybody needs one.
If there's somebody who needs kefaya, this would be a great, time to bring a couple of extras so that you can,
Yeah, absolutely. So now with that strange start, let's get to it. And again, apologize for that, technical difficulties, but we still have a lot to go through. We're going to start off with an American story. Tucker Carlson, of all people. And it's not a support for him at all. It's, you know what, we're going to start with the video and then we'll discuss it.
Reason this is happening right now.
Carlson has been publicly criticizing Trump over the Iran war. He recently called out Trump's Easter Truth social post in which the president threatened to destroy Iran's bridges and power plants and demanded that they, quote, open the fucking strait.
It is vile on every level. It begins with a promise to use the U.S. military, our military, to destroy civilian infrastructure in another country, which is to say to commit a war crime, a moral crime against the people of the country.
Trump later insulted Carlson, citing polling about his popularity. He posted to Truth Social saying, quote, Tucker is a low IQ person, always easy to beat and highly overrated. This is not the first time Carlson has broken from Trump. The Dominion case revealed that in 2021, Carlson had privately said, I hate him passionately. Still, these comments are a far cry from the 2024 election, where Carlson praised and campaigned for Trump.
And Donald Trump, whatever you say about him, and I think he's a wonderful person. I know him well. By the way, the funniest person I've ever met in my life, actually. You can't be funny without perspective or without empathy, which is true. But everything else about Trump aside, he actually cares.
Okay.
So, there's a couple of versions of that video covering some slightly different angles of it, and this was one that was most concise. There's a CNN explanation to it. But he is now dialing back and regretting. And I'm like, my personal feelings on the thing is, you knew exactly what he was.
Yeah, you called it.
No different.
Yeah. And you wanted that to be the leader of your democratic country.
Yeah. You knew exactly what he was. You knew exactly who he was.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference to it. And it's one of those, I'm looking at this, I don't think he's doing this, I'm going to call him out in regards to, I don't think he's doing this in regards to, he thinks this is the moral thing, and he thinks that the morality is all wrong. Even though, Tucker Carlson's already said he's pro-Palestine, and therefore he's already has issues there. But I think another part of this is the mega base, the one that fuels him, the one that funds him, is starting to turn on Trump also.
Oh, yeah.
And he's trying to figure out which direction it's going. So he's trying to lead the pack by being ahead of them in regards to the ones that are running off.
They're stupid, though. We all knew he was a pedophile. We all knew that he was a crook. We all knew that he was terrible with businesses. We all knew, that he was a racist. We all knew all of these things. And that he would go after, he doesn't relate to the average American, that he would totally fuck over their economy. Okay, I will say this. I didn't think it was going to be this bad.
Yeah.
He's fucking shit up bad. And he's going to kill, their military. He's sending them to suicide missions. This is so fucking stupid. The no war president is part of the worst war of our lifetime. A genocide. It's fucked up.
It is, and it's aside from the other wars that they're directly or indirectly, whether it be funding or assisting or aiding in either of the ways. We're looking at you, Israel. Yeah, the direct action, in particular with Iran, like what is
And Lebanon.
And Lebanon.
Like all of this, all of it,
Yeah.
all of it, the whole thing.
I mean, the U.S. involvement with Israel. Thank you, Benjamin. Like there was no, I mean, Israel's goal in regards to Iran was clear. Everybody can see that was telegraphed, and it had nothing to do with any of their concerns. There were no weapons of mass destruction. There was no nuclear weapons. The whole thing is bullshit.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, like the U.S. involvement, like, okay, great, you went in there, dropped some bombs, but now you're trying to get in there, like, for what end goal?
The end goal is that Iran is pretty much the only thing stopping Israel and the United States from taking over the entire Middle East, because they're all bought and paid for, and Iran will not sell out. Other than Yemen, they're not bought and paid for. But like
True.
these countries are completely capitulating because they were inserted, these leaderships were inserted by the CIA and the Americans and the Mossad and Israelis. But Iran can't be bought. They need to deal with that. That's a problem for them. And Iran is also sidestepping, circumventing the effects of this global sanctions on them. They've totally managed to survive the sanctions that should have never been imposed on them, the slander that they have endured, being like the entire world thinking that this was the biggest threat to our safety, when it's actually just the biggest threat to their fucking insane land takeovers and resource takeovers of all these countries. Yeah. Like we were taught a fucking narrative about Iran that, you know, the United States by far has always been worse than the regime in Iran, has always been worse, have been terrible to their women.
Mm-hmm.
Like will not even the education level of Iranian women versus the education level of, let's just talk basics, of American women. Iran far outpaces any Western world when it comes to that. And you want to talk about women's rights? Women can work there. Women can do all of those things. So I'm not saying that, you know, a government hasn't overreached. Like every fucking government in the Western world has political prisoners, has people they off when they, you know, speak too much or know too much. Well, and they eat fucking babies, okay? Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Even to your point, though, in regards to, you know, because one of the things that they try to market a lot in the States is, well, you know, Iran treats their women very horribly. I'm like, bitch, please.
Yeah, like look at your own self. Everybody pick the bear in the Western world, okay? Fuck.
Yeah, and and the laws right now being passed by every state, and the job back, how the considerations they're trying to see if they can revoke the women's right to vote.
Right. Like these are all on the table, people.
Yeah.
Like
these are all, and you're trying to say like, you know, well, you know, can't be as you know, like Iran is totally terrible for women. I can't see the difference between the United States right now and Iran in regards to women's rights, except, as you said, the women, at least in Iran, are better educated. The people in general in the U.S. are not. Like it's inconsistent.
And that's why they can do so well, regardless of whether or not they have sanctions, is because they've decided to include everybody in their economy. This is Frankie, everybody. He's all better now.
Apparently, the cat wanted to be included in that, everybody.
He really did. Frankie, what's up? Crazy. Okay.
So.
I'm just going to bring my keyboard back. But back to that. This is why they're able to do so well, because it does make a difference when your women are fully participating in the fabric, the whole, everything to do with society, whether it be they want to work or whether they don't want to work. Education matters. Their literacy rate is what, 97%?
I believe so. I don't know. You're telling me this.
And it was way lower when the Shah was in power. Okay. That's who suppressed and oppressed women. Anyway, I could go on.
The current government structure in Iran is directly caused by United States interference.
Yep.
Completely. So the only person to blame is the United States in regards to whatever actions are being taken there. If they don't like the United States after watching the United States try to mess with them, rightfully so. And yeah, I mean, again, if you're trying to do the moral outcry, you've got your own nation right now to look into in regards to crimes against women.
Mhm.
If you're trying to say some sort of terrorist threat towards North America, they don't even have a bomb. They haven't had a bomb, and the last guy was quite explicit in saying that there will not be a bomb. New guy, it's off the table. He hasn't said they're starting it, but again, there'd be a long time before they get to that point. Everything about this has nothing to do with bad threat and everything to do with just expansion, and removing obstacles for their expansion.
That's right.
That's it.
I'm just so glad, at the very least, that these vile people, the maggots, that we've had to endure for the last 10 years, at least there is a line for these people. Like, there is a line.
For some.
And well, a good majority of them. A lot of people are changing their minds on their side. And it may not be specifically about genocide. It may be because, the farmers voted this guy in and now they're getting the royal up your arse. Seniors lost their Medicaid, children, like everybody's going hungry. Fucking AI is taking over their jobs. You name it. This is directly affecting them. ICE is in their streets, just plucking their neighbors out and putting them in these concentration camps and then deporting them to countries that have nothing to do with them, like somewhere in Africa. Here you go, Kenya. Here's some people for you.
But for the most MAGA, I got the feeling it's not going to be the latter story you're saying there. It's just suddenly they're seeing that the actions of Trump is affecting them personally. And
some of the MAGA are having their wives taken that they thought were legal.
Still my point. They're being affected personally. And unless it's affecting them personally, they couldn't care less.
That's right.
And that's what's coming in. All right. We're going to move back to Canada, sort of. It's still related to the United States. And this one has to do with Alberta. Network of YouTube channels pushing U.S. annexation and Alberta secession narrative report finds. Now, this has come out, and quite a few things have come out in regards to it. We're going to go with the main story to explain a few things here. So, Calgary, a network of inauthentic YouTube channels posing as Albertan voices is spreading misleading content about separation and U.S. annexation, reaching tens of millions of viewers according to a new report. The analysis by a Canadian Digital Media Research Network found roughly 20 channels working in a coordinated way, amassing nearly 40 million views while presenting themselves as grassroots commentary from within the province. Lead author Chris Ross says the videos are not organic and appear to be part of a systemized operation using repeated scripts, shared clips, and near identical titles posted across multiple channels at the same time. All signs of coordination rather than independent creators. Some of the channels have AI avatars performing the content, and some just have AI voiceovers, he said. The report shows the videos frequently draw on real news, but distorted, exaggerating political grievances and promoting more extreme ideas than typically seen in Alberta's separatist movement. Researchers found that the content contained significantly more grievance-driven messaging and far greater support for U.S. annexation than authentic Alberta-based channels. In some cases, the lack of local knowledge is evident in the videos. It is important to note because this is how you can start seeing where the fuckery is, the gives of fuckery. One paid voice actor based in Pennsylvania will slip in things like Atlanta Prosperity Project instead of Alberta Prosperity Project, or mispronounce cities, Ross said. Despite these errors, the videos present themselves as authentic, Canadian perspectives, often using language that suggests the speakers are directly involved in Alberta politics. There's real potential for this influence. People might come away from the videos with a very distorted view of what's going on in Canadian politics. Ross said the findings raised concerns about how online content could shape public understanding ahead of a possible referendum on Alberta's sovereignty. So, I also got so in the article, they also had a snapshot here of just an example of a bunch of the channels going in there. And I wanted to point out one particular thing that jumped to me, and it might have jumped to Deana here. And that was that one of the names that's being used there was David Fraser, which I thought, interesting. For those who don't know, David Fraser is a reporter of the CBC in Ottawa. And I thought it was interesting because I'm wondering if they knew that they were using real journalist names to try to add some credibility in this whole mess.
Maybe. It's all the same font to everything. It looks like so very much the same. It all looks the same. It looks like from the same creator.
Well, some of these are very much template where you're going to see a lot of these similar styles on TikTok, on Twitter, YouTube. We're all constructed in a similar way. They have the headlines, the images, and whatnot. But yeah, they're using AI images of, for example, Mark Carney looking surprised, Donald Trump laughing, although you might be able to get an actual snapshot. But half of them have AI. There's AI messing with there, either some Photoshop or just AI to draw them out.
Really bad AI and really bad Photoshop.
But
doesn't even look like Mark Carney.
No.
Just saying.
But to some people, they don't care.
Yeah.
Remember, people with confirmation bias aren't going to look at the red flags and go straight for what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And again, most of the stuff is talking about how Alberta is not going to go to the States, even though none of this is true. And even to the one point, it's going all the way from Manitoba all the way up to
Utah. I see that. That's fucked up.
So.
And Goodbye Canada is one of the fucking... Okay. That's pretty crazy.
But so there was also a voice actor that was interviewed by CBC in regards to this, and it's one of the ones that did the Canadian Reporter. And when he was interviewed about it, he said, "I did an interview for one take. I got paid for the interview, and that's it." And all he did was he did the interview of an opener for Canadian politics, and as they were trying to see if they can find somebody.
Yeah,
and so that particular clip is used over and over again, and then the rest is all this generated content. So it has a face, but it's not real. The person's real, but it's not really part of the channel. And so, and looking at this and comparing it to that, plus AI generating only content, the fact that you got 20 channels, this could all be the work of just a couple of individuals. And they're getting 40 million views.
Maybe Jason LaFacci. That loser just posted that he hacked our show. Did you see that? Remember when I hacked her? Oh my God. And I was in her laptop. I wasn't even on a laptop. I need him to just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Jason LaFacci likes
I just thought he's probably going to take credit now that he saw me say this. He's probably going to start, and he should. He should take credit for all of that.
He should take credit, and we just need to remind people that he's not a trusted source on anything. Sorry, he's not at all.
Oh my God.
He's not known to be.
He's an idiot. Guy's a fucking loser.
That he is. But yeah, I mean, this particular. So one last thing about this particular story is that it is concerning about, again, but there's a couple of people, generate a couple of channels, make the content to be exactly what it is, rage and catching, gets in there, gets optimizes well into the algorithm, get enough clips and content to go out. This is how a misinformation campaign is done now. Doesn't take much at all, and you can do this, and you're more than likely
people will believe it, which is so, like,
40 million people watched it, and I'm, and of this, they're showing the views here. I'm like, that's great, but how many people actually believe it? How many people thumbs upped it, liked it, that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
that's gonna
Can
be
they
an indicator of
manufacture views or no?
Sorry?
Can they manufacture views?
Yes.
Okay.
You can manufacture views, and to an extent, that's going to be useful, but it's going to cost you because, again, you're going to need accounts to actually view the stuff.
I know, but it's good to front load your bullshit schemes. So when they have this, and then it seems like a lot of people are paying attention to it at the same time as them, like certain people think that everybody in Alberta wants to separate. And, we kept seeing those empty parking lots and empty places wherever they were trying to get signatures. So in their head, they think, because sometimes you fake it till you make it. You know what I mean?
And you're not wrong, because it's I've got a theory a bit on this one, which is I call it adding gravity to your content.
Yeah.
And whether it be to your social media accounts, adding followers.
Yeah, ego bots. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, either some ego bots or adding just,
and you know exactly
who
people are.
Yeah.
Like they literally have 90,000 supposedly followers, and then they post something and they only get like 260 likes.
Yeah.
Right, John K. I'm talking about you, John K.
Yeah. If you're not really good in regards to managing that, you're going to get found out rather quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're right. If there is a ratio. If you have so many followers, you should be getting so much response. And if you're not getting it, then there's something fishy going on.
At least 1%. At least 1%. Yeah. So you should be like banging out 1,000. Mm-hmm. Like if you have 100,000 followers or 90,000 followers, you should be banging out 1,000 like tweets. You know?
You should be. Absolutely. 1% is not an unreasonable number.
No.
And if you're getting less than that, then it's pretty starting to it starts to show that the following base might not be.
It means you're a loser who has to buy bots so that you don't feel like such a loser. Fucking loser.
That wasn't subtle at all.
No.
But
looks good on you, loser.
Yeah.
Sean K. Loser.
Oh yes, that's right. I remember seeing some stuff about him. Yeah.
He's a and I say this because like this guy just tweets about me out of nowhere. I don't even know who the fuck he is until I found out who he was. And he's like this piece of shit racist goof.
Yep.
And so it makes me laugh when he posts, and then he cuts half of my posts because he didn't want people to read what the other half was. And I was like, thanks for making this public. I'll piggyback off of that. Like I was just on Facebook, but he decided to bring it to Twitter. It's like, okay, cool. Let's do it on Twitter too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sticking in Alberta though.
Alberta.
So
we're back to Alberta.
We're back to Alberta. We haven't really left Alberta since, we're not too sure where that particular content was coming from, but it's for Alberta. As many of you guys know, First Nations Core Challenge maybe blocked not only the actual petition and the referendum, but the First Nations are trying to get the Core Challenge to actually block the idea of separatism altogether, or just remove it from the table.
Yeah.
There is a lot of legal reasons behind it. Most of it is in the benefit of the First Nations in regards to the treaties are theirs, and it's with theirs with the Crown. So Alberta's got that larger stumbling block that they still have not looked into trying to address. And
No, and now they're blaming all the First Nation people that they're not getting what they want. So now
yes,
they're moving the needle to being even more racist.
yes,
Yeah,
it's
it's gross.
how do I go with this? If it's like I have a nice car and somebody else wants my nice car, and I say no, you can't have it because it's my car, and so you blame me for preventing you from having the car.
That's right. Pretty much.
So
Correct.
now my red flag on this particular one is I saw I've been seeing what the First Nation's been doing. Fantastic job. And this was about a couple weeks ago. Where recently we got now is Colin Big Bear decides to show support for the Alberta independence in full regalia. And I'm like, So after, as I said, every treaty nation that's within the Alberta area have been working hard to fight this fight the separation attempts. Well, Big Bear turns around and says, supporting Alberta independence since 1885. Let's go, Alberta. Time to be free from the corruption hand of Ottawa. Let's get those signatures. Michael Band, First Nation checking in, Métis Nation, Bear Clan checking in Treaty 6 territory, which is, by the way, one of the territory that's strongly opposing any separation attempts.
Yeah, and they probably think he's a douchebag loser, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
What a sellout. What do you call those? What do you call them? The people who sell out their communities, what the hell are they called? It's a different name in different cultures.
Don't know the
Anyway,
name.
he's a fucking
I'm
sellout.
well bastard to try to guess that.
Like, he's been around long enough. There's no excuse. He's been around long enough to know that it doesn't matter how close in proximity you think you make yourself to these people, these oppressors of your people, you are not going to make it out alive. You might as well stand with your people and not sell them out, because you're getting nothing from this. And you've gotten nothing from this because now you have nobody. What a fucking idiot. The guy's an idiot.
He is.
Fucking gross.
Yep, right.
Whatever. He likes hanging out with pedophiles.
Yeah. We're coming back to Ontario. Ottawa to start off with. It's time for the new segment, the police updates. I think I should get a siren sound or something. Woo.
Yeah.
This one.
Bad boys. What you gonna do when it happens to be us the whole time? Okay, go. It's a new song. It's a new version.
I like it. Ottawa cop demoted after using database to search for women. Partner. The trigger warning, this one for anybody who's experienced stalking. This could be a little bit disconcerting. An Ottawa police constable has been demoted for 18 months after he admitted to using police and Ministry of Transport databases dozens of times to search for people he personally knew and other members of the public. Constable Jerome Rahiba Stevens, who joined the force in 2022, pleaded guilty this month onto 4 counts of misconduct as part of a disciplinary process. A copy of the settlement says the frontline patrol officer searched the database 17 times for people he knew, including his ex-partner's parents, a woman he was having an affair with, and the woman's partner. It says he also searched for women he met or saw at the gym in a bid to identify them or their social media or to connect.
Does that sound familiar, Joe?
A little bit, yes.
I'll tell you after.
Absolutely.
When we've done this.
The practice extended to other members of the public too. with Rahiba Stevens carrying...
Rabiha.
Rabiha?
Yeah, Rabiha.
Yeah. Rabiha Stevens carrying 49 searches from December 2024 to May 2025 for personal reasons, both on and off duty, including to search a woman on the street he found attractive. An investigation began when the officer, while on duty and in a police cruiser, confronted his partner and the partner of the woman he was having an affair with at a Tim Hortons parking lot and damaged the man's vehicle. No criminal charges were laid. The allegations, the woman told investigators that during the affair, Rabiha Stevens said he had driven by her house, even though she had never told him where she lived. She told them she was uncomfortable, and she believed he had looked up her license plate and learned about her address that way. Rabiha Stevens had searched her license plate in March 2024, around the time they first met at the gym, the document indicates. He was also asked to explain a number of searches between December 2024 and May 2025 linked to people living in and around the area where he lived, and even outside the Ottawa police jurisdiction. In one case, he recalled searching for a woman he found attractive who said hello to him while he was walking with his child in the neighborhood. The woman was interviewed by investigators and said she didn't know him. He was, reasons by police as to the investigation and conclusion, he was unable to provide a reason for the query beyond that he was a curious person and that he wanted to find out who they were. Rabiha Stevens was demoted from first class to second class constable for 18 months. He will return to the rank after 18 months on the basis of satisfactory work performance to be determined by the service.
That's
The
fucking
settlement
disgusting.
says.
He should have lost his job.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally stalking people. People would go to jail for that.
This is a massive abuse.
This is disgusting.
It is. If anybody of the general public was to break into the database and use it the way he did, they would now be definitely dealing with severe charges, going to jail, as they should. This is breach of privacy. Just because he was a police officer doing said breach of privacy without any reason, it's just an administrative issue.
Yeah.
Like, this is not even like I accidentally searched up one person by accident while working on a case and it was missed. No, that's understandable. This was quite clearly almost 50 personal searches for no investigative reasons whatsoever, just for his own personal use. One of them for dating.
Yep.
And stalking.
Vaccine is saying there's a second cop now, but on that, what I was going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a true story. I was in jail with somebody who was found innocent, by the way. They dropped the charges because she didn't do anything wrong, but she fucking sat in jail anyways for far too long. And also had shitty conditions when she finally got bail. She's free now of everything. But anyways, when she went to court, the special constable, and the court isn't in Ottawa, so it's not a special constable in Ottawa, but the special constable was like asking her personal questions and shit, and she didn't want to talk or whatever. And then all of a sudden, he's following her Instagram and liking her posts. Do you remember who I'm talking about now?
I know exactly. Yes.
Right.
Now I know exactly
Joe
what you're talking about.
gets to meet my friends, right? Because we're friends. So while I was in jail, she was telling him the story that she had told me, but now she's out. So she's DMing on our Deana Joe, telling him the story. And he definitely looked her up. She's got a boyfriend, by the way. Anyway, so yeah, this is happening a lot. This is happening probably far more than, just these two cops or three cops now, because I just told you about one.
So to Vaccines Baby's point, Ottawa police officer accused of unauthorized database searches into women colleagues. Constable allegedly made 77 searches unrelated to work. Hey, by the way, David Fraser, funny enough.
Yeah.
And in this case here, it's Constable Andrew Reeser is facing 6 charges under Community Safety and Policing Act, including for failing to comply with procedure and undermining the public trust. Cool that this guy's doing it. Why didn't they do that with the other one? Like,
what are they
again,
doing for him?
he's
He's facing 6 charges. Yeah. So why is the
got
other guy
charges.
just getting demoted? Well, maybe now that there's a second one, I think they have to be tougher. It's probably systemic, and I'm sure they're getting a lot of pressure from the public. We're pissed.
Yeah. Well, we need to keep pressuring them on this, saying why do you have a police force that's like this?
Yeah.
And why is this now up to 2? Like, this needs to be called up. Friend of
There's
Stubbs.
going to be a lot more. They're going to find a lot more. Friend of Stubbs, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, speaking a lot more. Where am I? I keep losing myself. I will now bring us to the next police story. This one, Toronto. And this one involves TPS. And this is not limited to a single officer. This is more of a systemic problem. We'll let the story start it off, and then we'll discuss after. Sorry?
Shocking.
Shocking. Yes, indeed. I need to take that off. There we go.
I have not stepped foot in police headquarters since September 22nd of 2023, and I don't think I would be welcome back at police headquarters.
Imagine that from the man who was once the most well-known cop in Canada's biggest city. Homicide Inspector Hank Idsinga.
We've never seen anything quite like this.
A senior officer working on some of the most notable crime cases in Toronto,
It's a serial killer.
including the investigation into serial killer Bruce MacArthur. Proud to be a cop, but proud of the Toronto Police Service, he worries about that force and bigotry.
I could write a book centered around that topic.
Racism, anti-Semitism.
Racism, anti-Semitism, tyrannical behavior, corruption, dysfunction in the senior ranks.
He did write a book about his 34 years in policing.
A witness actually sees him putting his Walkman headphones on. He was charged with first-degree murder.
Cases solved, those that haunt. That he called his book The High Road, sign enough he didn't entirely expose what or who enraged him.
When I was the inspector.
What he is willing to say is bad enough.
I don't go around telling people, my grandfather was a Holocaust victim. So people, when they don't know my background, perhaps let their guard down a little bit. There was an officer in the ranks above me who referred to a kosher barbecue as a Jew-Q. And I kind of said, you think that's really an appropriate term? And they were like, oh yes, it's hilarious. I thought, no, it's not so funny, right? Considering 20th century history. And I kind of left that alone. And it was months later when there was a video on our internal intranet, and one of the officers featured in the video, unbeknownst to me at the time, was Jewish. And I walked in on the same senior officer who was watching that video, and they paused that video and looked at me and gestured towards the screen and said, the only reason he gets away with this is because he's a fucking Jew. And that blew me away. And months later, I was with that same senior officer on our way to a meeting with a lawyer who happened to be Jewish. And that senior officer said, I can't believe we have to pander to this fucking Jew. And that really was the seminal moment when I said, okay, you know what? I was pretty sure you're a Jew hater. Now I'm positive you're a Jew hater.
You said this to him?
And I kept it to myself. I sat in that meeting and literally didn't say a word. Just kept my head down, thinking this is repulsive.
While Idsinga says he found a way to deal with the complaint informally, Toronto police say they have clear mechanisms for members to report concerns and that allegations of discrimination are taken seriously and that they seek external oversight where appropriate.
Bullshit. Anybody who ends up making a complaint ends up getting, you lose your job at some point.
So that particular video is part of a larger video
Mhm.
that's done by the National in regards to the whole issue. So one of the things I also have here is also a post from another person, Paul Manning. This is actually where the story started for us, and I'll put it up here. So he posted TikTok. Now, Paul Manning is an author of a book about mafia and police corruption. So, but he did a lot of research and go to different places, including going to TPS. So, in this case here, some time ago, I sat in interviews with Toronto Police Service (TPS). I wanted to show my knowledge of a city I'd never lived in and had only experienced for 24 hours. Me. We had a shooting at 42 Division last night. Recruiter. Don't worry, it's just N against N. I'm censoring. Me. Is this an integrity test? Recruiter. No, that's just how we describe black people here. I decided Toronto and I would not be a good employment fit, and that recruiter currently works at the Ontario Police College. Now, decades later, forward Toronto Police Service Homicide Inspector Hank Insinga is alleging anti-Semitism and anti-Black racism at the senior levels of policing.
Shocking.
Shocking. TPS says the claims can't be substantiated. But which is it? Two isolated allegations separated by decades, or a deeper culture problem no one wants to admit or deal with? When a senior insider speaks out, perhaps rather than dismissing, you investigate it. Toronto Policing Accountability Canada.
See, their complaint process doesn't work. It's bullshit.
Well, it's almost as if, when
they have it in
when they
place because they're
self-regulate?
required to by the Ontario work rules, but that's it.
It's when you have a policy where you self-regulate and self-investigate, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
That's exactly it.
It's not a great fit. I mean, is there a racism problem in Toronto Police? I can't be an expert into it, but I mean, from what I've heard, yeah. And from what we're hearing here, yeah. Should they be investigated? Fuck yeah. Should it be done by somebody outside of Toronto instead of Toronto saying, yeah, we checked ourselves and there's nothing in there? Probably.
Yeah, all the police like to investigate themselves and then demote for, a year and a half and then bring them right back to where they were. Yeah,
Bad boy.
exactly. You're not going to make $125,000 this year. You're going to make $105,000 this year.
Yeah.
Cool. And then he can do overtime and make that money, and it's fine.
They always have overtime.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna do it with overtime. They're gonna get some additional people in there. They're gonna be able to make their money back. And again, he's gonna have a slight pay cut. He's still gonna have access to continue doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And the public is gonna just you're not worried about what the public are gonna say.
Yeah. No, they don't give a shit about what we have to say. If they did, then the racism issue probably would have been worked on at least. And if they gave a shit about what we had to say, they wouldn't be putting AI facial recognition in the cameras. If they listened to what we would say, so many different things would be different than what it is now. So they don't give a fuck. They're not here for us.
Agreed. More proof they're not here for us. We go back to Ottawa, the bubble zones.
Oh, fucking stupid. The bubble
We had to
zone.
hide that poker face.
Fucking.
Well, the city of Ottawa is one step closer to a so-called bubble bylaw that would restrict where protests and demonstrations can take place. City staff unveiling a plan to create buffer zones around some locations such as hospitals, churches, and schools. But it doesn't come without some pushback. CTV's Caitlin Wilson joins us live now with more. Caitlin.
Patricia, last May, Council directed staff to develop a bubble zone bylaw to prioritize safe access to places like schools, hospitals, and churches. Now we're getting a first look at that proposed bylaw as the number of demonstrations across the city climb. Protests like this are happening more often across Ottawa. Now the city unveiling a proposed bubble zone bylaw that would restrict where those demonstrations can take place.
We've seen a rise in extremism in Ottawa in recent years. We've seen a rise in anti-Semitic, in Islamophobic, in anti-2S LGBTQ+, in anti-Black racism.
The bylaw would create safe access zones prohibiting demonstrations within 50 meters of schools, childcare centers, hospitals, residential care facilities, and places of worship. Supporters say the goal is to protect access to those spaces, curbing possible harassment and hate crimes.
We've been hearing about this for a number of years, and I think it just reinforces that there are a few policy tools that the city has the ability to push, and this is one of them.
The mayor says the bylaw would go hand in hand with the federal government's proposed Combating Hate Act, which would make it illegal to intimidate or block people trying to access certain locations.
They are approaching it from a judicial point of view, and we're approaching it from a public space point of view. Together, both measures will be effective in protecting the public.
But critics argue the city's bylaw would infringe on freedom of expression and the right to peaceful assembly.
It throws a ton of confusion into the mix, and it makes people worried that they aren't allowed to be out there protesting, and it's supposed to be a fundamental right.
And other cities have tried similar approaches. In Calgary, a judge allowed a bubble zone bylaw to stand, but said some parts went too far. And in Winnipeg, a proposal was shelved after public pushback.
A lot of scrutiny has gone into making sure that we're balancing charter rights, and I'm very confident, looking at what staff are going to present, that we're going to meet that mark.
The bylaw is set to go for a vote at special committee meeting next week. If approved, it would head to council, and if passed, the new rules would come into effect August 1st. The owners and operators of the facilities would need to apply to the city for safe access zones to be enforced. And according to staff, the zones would be in effect from 1 hour before the facility opens until 1 hour after it closes. The fine for violating the bylaw could range between $150 and $500. Patricia?
All right, CTV's Caitlin Wilson live for us tonight. Thank you very much.
Oops. So this has now been put into effect. It's passed council. It's passed the council. It's now going to be put into effect starting August 1st. This is effectively putting the range as stated in the article. Sam Hirsch has already spoken out about this. Ottawa bylaw are now. This is during when they passed the committees to show some of the problems with this bylaw. Ottawa bylaw are admitting that it's possible for someone to be charged with an offense if they were wearing a political T-shirt inside a bubble zone. And they think this won't get challenged in courts. This is draconian. Troster asks staff if it could be possible under this bylaw for someone to be charged for wearing political garment, like a T-shirt with a slogan, is extremely concerning.
Or kafaya, anything. Yeah. Well, they can go fuck themselves. There's that. All of my T-shirts could be considered protest T-shirts. One says protect trans kids. One says make racists afraid again. One has a Palestinian woman, with the colors. So that's bullshit. All of it is bullshit. But here's my question. I just thought of this. You know how the protests go downtown? There are churches that are right, in busy streets where people protest. Do we have to change our routes now? Because that's part.
So there's a church at the corner across the street from the Human Rights Memorial.
Yeah.
The courthouse and the Human Rights Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
There is a school on the other side of Lisker High School on the other side of City Hall, and I'm sitting there looking at this if the bubble zone was slightly larger, then they'd be enveloping City Hall so that nobody can protest City Hall.
It's all of it is bullshit.
Yep.
And all they're doing is making it possible for these places to get away with doing things that are, that people should be allowed to have civil disobedience. If somebody decides that they're going to be putting on a racist show or whatever at a school, people should be able to protest around there. And it's like in the evening or whatever, if they use a church, if to do something illegal, or if they use a synagogue, or if they use a mosque and they're doing something illegal, people have every right to stand up and object, to be present and to object. It's fucking, there's a big difference between, school is in and there's kids learning versus the after school usage, like the school usage after hours. And when people are going to worship in a mosque, church, or synagogue, or temple, or whatever, versus when they have extracurriculars coming in and they can sell occupied land, break the fucking law in Canada, break the fucking law internationally, and we have the right to be there and to object, to be present and to object, especially when our own government isn't stepping in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all bullshit. And it's inviting shit.
Yeah, it's going to be inviting some more stuff, and there's more that we're going to be getting into in regards to this. So one of the good things right now that's coming out is CCLA has already said that they are going to be looking into it. So direct attack on expression is what CCLA Association says. Ottawa bubble zone bylaw is a part of a worrying trend. Absolutely correct. As they were saying in the news story earlier on, other cities have been doing this and other ones are considering. And then we also have Bill C9, who's also looking at making on the federal level to make bubble zones around places. And that would also now carry a criminal code punishment that could include imprisonment. Much more severe than just a fine. Annie McNichol, lawyer and director of Fundamental Freedoms Program at the CCLA, says the bylaw is overly restrictive and would prohibit people from using spaces within the bubble zones to express any opinions. Every one person
That's
or
true
two people.
too. You can't have a town hall at a school anymore or a church.
Yep.
No talking politics in church.
Yep. Well, this is where it'll get interesting. Every one person or two people gathering together to read a program about peace would be in violation of the bylaw. Bussiere McNichol told News Talk 580 CFRA on the weekends. So we're really talking about overboard prohibitions that are a direct attack on expression that is nonviolent and non-threatening, and on protests that are completely peaceful. Bussiere McNichol says provisions within the criminal code already work to uphold community safety, even during protests, making the bylaw unnecessary. Mischief, intimidation, criminal harassment, uttering threats, participating in a riot, those are all provisions that exist that apply everywhere in Canada, including in the context of protests, that allow the police to do their job. She said, whenever there is a risk to public safety, they can intervene. I feel like we must collectively question this growing narrative that the protest is necessary, problematic, and must be shut down because it is disruptive. Bussiere McNichol said, a protest can be disruptive and yet still be peaceful, and a reasonable level of disruption is part of the constitutional protection awarded to freedom of peaceful assembly and freedom of expression.
These people, man. We're trying to balance what? The charter rights and what? What is the other balance that wasn't already taken care of with our existing laws? You're trying to suppress your dissent.
It is. This is directly an attack on protesting.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more. They're talking about a rise of racism and anti-Semitism and anti-LGBTQ. Cool.
Then deal with the
What's-
people who are the problem with that.
But the same thing
Starting with
the big ones.
your premier, the premier of Ontario. He's a
There's
good
that.
example. Okay.
But also, what are the big examples that they have? I mean, anti-LGBTQ. All right, we haven't had any drag story times or events at schools in a while. Billboard Chris was the last one, and he's the one off. We're gonna make the bold bylaws for that one particular event. We haven't had any church attacks except for vandalism. Well, this isn't going to do shit for that.
Well, they were going to libraries and protesting at libraries for drag story time.
Correct.
Are libraries part of the bubble zone?
I don't believe they are actually. They are. They did mention community events, so they could potentially be. There wasn't. We'd have to go check. I know schools, hospitals, and places of worship and communities areas also included, but I did not see specifically libraries in there. They could be considered as community places. So again, you're going to be dealing with this bylaw that's whole purpose is trying to protect these groups, and it's not even doing anything to address.
No, they're protecting the hate groups is what they're doing. That's what they're going to be doing. That's the only people that they are protecting with this.
I mean,
like people who are planning on doing illegal things within these bubble zone areas. And like, first of all, it was the convoy people who were protesting the hospitals. Nobody else protests hospitals. Everybody else is not stupid. Okay. Hospitals are there to help us. And yes, some people have bad experiences at hospitals, but they don't gather a whole bunch of people to protest the hospital because of their bad experience. They use the law. They sue or they, use their other political polls or petitions or whatever, but they don't gather people to go protest the hospital because that would affect everybody else who's trying to get medical care, who is in a situation where they need medical care. So only the stupid people did that, but there were police that could have done something about that with the trespassing, the criminal harassment, the intimidation, all of those things were available to the police. They just chose not to fucking do any of that.
Yeah. And priority of ingress and egress from a hospital, like that's protected. Like there's human life involved there. And I totally agree with it. Like, do not block a doorway for a hospital ever. Like don't. Somebody's life is always dependent on that.
Yeah.
But you're right. There was already laws existing to do that. Like they did not need to do any additional things.
These politicians can just fuck the fuck off when they want to pretend that they care about hospitals, when they're okay with a genocide and people bombing hospitals in 3 or 4 different countries at the moment and have always been bombing hospitals. So don't act like you care about healthcare workers or people who are trying to get helped or whatever. This is about suppression.
They won't even fund them here in local.
Correct. And that too.
Yep.
They're trying to break them so that they can have privatized spaces instead. So we know that it's all bullshit. Their little narrative.
But this bubble zone, I think the biggest thing that we know is it's going to do the only thing that this thing is going to do is protect against protesting. And all it's going to do is protect was it the Vaughan protest that you were out, where you were no longer be within 50 meters of the synagogue as it's illegally selling land, or the Biker Church in Ottawa come May 5th when they host a anti-trans speech.
Oh my God!
Look at that anti-trans town hall. Where they're going to be featuring all the wonderful people like Barry Neufeld, who's being sued was fined $750,000 for being absolutely a vile bigot to people, according to the report, as well as Jeff Everly,
who looks like a well-dressed gnome, by the way.
Yeah. Don't look close to the photo. It's weird. That's all I'm gonna say. It's
yeah,
weird.
like I don't know who has been lying to him about that look, but anyways, carry on.
Yeah. The rest of the collection is just as much horrible people. Mia Hughes on the W Path Files, Dr. Angelis, Carolyn Peary, founder of D-Trans Alliance Canada, Faith Grullo, a detransitioner activist, and Chris Fleury, Canadian lawyer for Charter Advocate. So a panel of horrible people, all headed by Scott Nugent, a Texan who is a trans man who is advocating against transitioning, which is such a weird thing. So they transitioned at 42, but I don't believe they're that old, but so now they're obviously speaking from experience, and I understand they may have had some complications from their own experience, but they now want to change legislation in regards to making sure medical transitioning in Canada on children isn't happening, even though
it didn't happen.
It never has been.
Things that never happened.
Yeah. I mean, part of me is always on the, go do your fucking town hall. Go waste your fucking time.
True.
None of this shit is real. You're literally, wasting your time in regards to this, because none of it's happening. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to take you seriously because it's not fucking happening. Go nuts. But the other part of me is also like, here's the thing. Yes, you're right about this, but this particular rhetoric is going to allow fuel to just help move that anti-trans window. And eventually, and also start to move the entire bigotry of anti-LGBTQ+. And it's already shifted enough as it is, and we need to make sure we start pushing it back loudly. And if we get this wonderful bylaw, thanks, Mark Sutcliffe, for protecting the anti-LGBTQ. Oh, wait, isn't your bylaw supposed to protect them?
Right.
Yeah. Here's your first example.
And I'd like to know why this biker church isn't paying taxes, like why they get church status. Because this is not a place of worship. That's not what they're doing with this bullshit. That's not what they're doing. And wasn't it Melissa McGee that posted this on her own
Absolutely
site? Yeah, so
I believe on Facebook.
This is on behalf of the biker church, not just some event that's happening at the biker church. It's not just, an event where they rented out the church so that they could host their event. This is, Melissa McGee, one of the heads of the church, or at least the wife.
Yeah, they even got the logo right there on there for the biker church. Or bikers church.
Oh yeah, true that. So yeah.
And the whole background too.
So Mark Sutcliffe, if you really care about the 2S LGBTQ community, maybe you need to look into this. But we know you don't.
If anything, it's going to do more harm to the very groups he claims that's supposed to help.
Absolutely.
And here, this is your first example right here.
Oh, the first example is the synagogue selling occupied land. And
Agreed.
then there was that Sean Freud loser guy who was in a church.
Yeah.
That racist.
This is the first one around during this particular issue.
Yeah. Oh, in Ottawa.
And this one is in Ottawa too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Freud, I think he was in all sorts of places. But yeah, no, this is now that they know that, hey, we can protect ourselves now by using churches. Churches can be looking at new revenue, but unfortunately, it's be coming in from hate groups.
Yep.
And anybody else who wants to do shady business that they don't want to have anybody protesting or causing.
Now, if a mosque was promoting hate, there would be hell to pay.
Oh, yeah.
And here we have a church that's promoting hate. So let's see the same energy, shall we?
Agreed. And now on top of this, for this particular event on May 5th, we also have, they're going to be doing a march, I guess, to Parliament Hill, where the special speaker is going to be talking to, on Parliament Hill to, I guess they're anticipating a large gathering. I don't think so. In regards to the issue.
I don't think so either.
So now I did go take a look because they have a website, and I went to take a peek. I didn't bother screenshotting it, and I'm looking at it like, all right, holy in the fucking GeoCities 1990 webpage design strategy are we having here?
It's Jason LaFauci's work.
Oh, must be. How does he have the time between hacking your internet?
Right.
And, but yeah, is I for those who understand web design, and again, you don't need to know that much, or at least remember web pages from back in the day. It's got an animated GIF logo. Like,
nice.
That's it. The rest of the styling is all weird, but again, their messaging is very much, you know, we're here to stop the medical transitioning of children. The same rhetoric we have now. Dean and I also talked a little bit about this in the back before, and we want to bring it back here to the front. We're going to see you guys. I think this is also kind of weird. I mean, for more than the usual reasons. Like, this is obviously horrible. They shouldn't be doing this. But I think this is also kind of weird in regards to they are trying to bring this back when...
As a distraction.
As an attempt to be a distraction, or to try to get back, you know, was it like Kamel was trying to get back his million march for kids, didn't register, got zero.
See, here's the thing: the Zionists are losing. They're losing badly.
Yeah,
they're losing badly at everything, and so I think they thought they had some sort of a little bit of a success with punching down on trans children, even though they really didn't. We outnumbered them in every city almost in Canada, and in the bigger cities, we fucking showed up. So I don't think, like, I think they're trying to distract, but I think they actually think that they can get some clout within the community again. But everybody hates Zionists. So nobody gives a fuck about you. Nobody gives a fuck about your church. You get people who have no money that go there because they're looking for food and clothes. Okay, that's the extent of it. You could try to brainwash these people. You could do your best. But no, it's not. They're losing. Like, you're not coming back. You can't come back from this. Zionists, that whole thing is over. They're pushing out really hard. Things are going to get really bad for all of us because they are losing. And when fucking people of power start losing, they start to really pull out whatever they can to, you know, try to destroy anybody who's standing up to them. But they will lose. It'll be over. History tells us over and over and over again. This little empire bullshit that you had going, it's over. You know, it took 400 years for the Ottomans. It took 100 for you.
I think there's two stories going on here, though. And I totally agree with what you're saying. But I also think that we need to tie it back to the first story in regards to Tucker Carlson. This one takes a bit to get to my point. While support for Israel is dropping, and they do need to find a distraction because trying to convince people is not working
right
anymore. They're kind of seeing through it now. It's what happens when you gives people a 4K camera in everybody's hand. We also have, I think, a lot of issues now with right-wing grifters or
They're
journalists and whatnot.
losing.
They're losing too, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Remember, they were all big on they were all doing the anti-trans. They were all doing the liberal is terrible. They're all doing this stuff.
Yeah.
But things are changing and they're not able to adapt because, again, a lot of the stuff is just throwing out rhetoric. And unless they have new rhetoric to replace
Rhetoric,
it with,
repetitive. Yeah, exactly. They don't have new material.
they don't have new, like, Pierre is a wonderful example of, like, what happens when you don't have the ability to pivot. You lose your election.
Yeah.
You weren't able to pivot. You weren't able to adapt. All you had is rhetoric, and you had no new material prepared. And these guys are not that different. They don't have any new material prepared. They weren't prepared for, for Carney coming in, pushing out, a lot of the stuff that was kind of what they wanted. And so even the most moderate of conservatives that they thought they were able to kind of pull towards them, they can't get them anymore because now they're trying to go back. So some of them are trying to go back to the well. Let's bring back the trans stuff. Well, no, that's not working right now because people, their heads are not there. A lot of people right now are having more personal suffering in regards to it's post-COVID. The money's getting harder. Not so much because some people are starting to lose work. Others are also starting to just deal with the fact that I'm making just as good money as I was before, but everything is twice as expensive now.
Yeah.
What do I do? So they're dealing with this now new dilemma, and
because it was never trans people who were ruining your lives the whole fucking time. Okay.
Exactly.
Like,
and regardless of
it wasn't the carbon tax, it wasn't trans people, it wasn't drag queens, it's not Black people, it's not Indigenous and First Nations people. Like, the whole time, it's those people who are making decisions on behalf of, the Zionists, the Epstein class, the fucking rich.
Yeah. And if you ever want to, and to those who are trying to figure this out in regards to their issues, because again, I think they're going to start pushing away from, and again, we're not going to be supporting trans rights or anything else. I just don't think they're going to be supporting it right now because they're going to be too focused on their issues because again, it's whatever's personal issue or whatever's been figured into. And right now the fear might be put to the side for their own personal issues of not being able to afford shit.
And how many children are trans? Like, why are you putting all of this effort into
again, they go into fear monger. There's no logic there. They don't
ridiculous.
They do research, remember? Whatever Rebel News sends them. But they're going to be more focused on their own personal issues because, again, a lot of them are not going to be able to afford even the most basic. You want to go out and protest? Well, guess what? That's going to cost you twice as much now, too.
I wonder if the biker church is like running out of money and they need to try to find ways to get people to notice them again.
Possibly. That's always a possibility. Either way, a lot of them are flailing. I mean, we've seen some of the content creators in Canada that you were doing a lot of the right wings. You're not seeing them as much anymore
because they suck.
Some of them are starting to disappear.
Everybody's realizing how shitty their entire their shtick was the whole time. It's the same thing over and over and over again. There's only so many times that you can go out there and be like, "Oh, the police aren't doing anything. I just got assaulted, or they're pushing my camera, or they're doing this." How many times is that story going to be replayed? Every fucking week? 52 times at least in a year that this happens to you? It gets boring. Nobody fucking cares anymore. You'll have the same handful, a couple of dozen people who are going to keep liking that because they're also losers who don't have any friends and probably have not that many followers, and they're over it. It's like boring. It's fucking boring.
A lot of people are going to be looking for stuff that's going to be affecting them now, and they're going to be very focused on it. There's a lot of things that's going on that's going to be worth them.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of these things kind of shift and change. The climate's going to change right now, and I don't know what it's going to look like.
It's already changed.
It
Like,
has
you
already
see,
changed. You're
these
right.
people are falling from, yeah, it's so lovely to watch. It's so fun to watch.
Mhm.
They claim that they have, like we said earlier, 60, 70,000 followers. They can't even hit double digits in some of their most of their posts. They can't even get triple digits in almost all of their posts.
Yeah.
They might get one banger here like once a month or something, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And that's what your whole life revolves around. Cool. Like, you're a loser.
It's yeah. I mean, we're going to be watching change. And again, so we're going to definitely be seeing some differences going around. We're also going to be seeing particularly around in regards to the leading up now. We're going to be watching still for us. We're still going to continue what we're doing, watching protests, watching activities, even though a lot of these guys are starting to disappear. But we got other issues now. We got other world issues. We also got other city issues now. And police watch is now going to be growing for us.
Actually, things going on beyond little tiffs in the street, right?
Yeah.
Like actual, real, impactful things.
Yeah. We'll keep you guys updated on that. And till then, we're wrapping it up now. So don't forget to join us hopefully again next week. We've been having a bit of an off kind of scheduling issue for the past couple of weeks.
It's been busy, but I'm back
has
on
been.
track now. Don't forget Friday, my sentencing, the courthouse in Ottawa, 161 Elgin Street. We'll be told what courtroom tomorrow, but it really doesn't matter because by the time you get to court, they will have moved you. So just find out on that day. And if you happen to show up a little bit late and you don't know where we are, just go to the criminal desk and ask them where it is, and they'll tell you.
Or check our Twitters.
Oh yeah, we can post that too once we find out. Yeah, true that.
We'll keep you guys updated on Twitter
And Facebook.
Absolutely. Watch for my follow the Deana Joe page for on Facebook and on Twitter. Follow us both. I'll try to make sure to be more attentive to making sure I send out the updates. Deana just might be busy. That's why. In regards to
I'll be busy. I'll be sitting in the front.
Keep everybody updated on that. Aside from that, that's it for us.
There's no Zoom, by the way. People were asking. I don't think Ottawa does Zoom. Sorry.
Well, the Zoom could be available, but it won't be available for this. Am I correctly?
I don't remember. I don't even remember if Zoom was available or not for my trial. I know we had people come in on Zoom, but I don't know if they opened it up for people or not. But anyway.
Fair enough. That's it for us, and we'll see you next week. Till then, one last thing.
Thanks, Yardy.
Oh, wait. I almost did that by accident. Having a terrible technical night tonight. Jeez. Again, and yes, thanks, Yardy.
Spade, what's up, brother? How you doing? Hey,
I can't. Carl's a mess. Run with that.
All right, sounds good, man.